Now we're going to Houston, Texas, where you see George Bush and his family assembled before an American flag. Protocol on election night. The top of the ticket gets to go first. Now here's George Bush, who has been living in a hotel in Houston as his unofficial residence in that state. Mrs. Bush on the far right, members of his family, including his brother and some of his sons, their wives.
You've been here 5 hours. Where'd you get all that energy? Thank you very much. You know, 4 years ago here in Houston, right here, 4 years ago, we celebrated a great victory, a new beginning. And I remember saying to many of you here tonight that with Ronald Reagan as president, our country would soon be on the road to economic recovery at home and to peace overseas. And that was the promise of the new beginning in 1980. And it's because that promise was kept that we're here again celebrating a magnificent victory in 1984. To our friends and neighbors here in Houston and across Texas and across this country, Barbara and I and the entire Bush family, thank you for the help you've given us, not just in this campaign, not just these past 4 years, but for all the years we worked together for community, state, and country. And to all the dedicated workers at the Reagan-Bush Committee in Texas and in Washington and all across this country, and the thousands of volunteers, this is your victory. You made it possible. And in the coming 4 years, as in the past 4 years, and you just heard this president, you just heard our great president, he and I will dedicate our efforts to making your vision of America a reality. And to those who supported our opponents, let me say that we recognize the outcome of this election as a mandate to represent not just those who supported the Reagan-Bush ticket, but to represent all Americans. For in this hour of victory, this wonderful hour of victory, let's not forget that the strength of our free system lies not only in the right of the majority to express its will, but in the right of all Americans to have their voices heard and their interests served. And this has been a long, hard-fought campaign, a historic campaign. And a little while ago, I had a most gracious phone call from Geraldine Ferraro. She campaigned hard. She was a strong opponent. No, she worked very, very hard. A strong opponent. Barbara and I both talked to her and thanked her and sent our best wishes to her and to her family. And now, in the great American tradition, after every election, let's come together as one people, united and indivisible, to share a common purpose, to realize the dream held by all Americans, regardless of party, the universal goal of peace and prosperity and opportunity for all. Thank you all, and God bless you. Thank you for this fantastic support. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Just great.
Vice President George Bush and his wife Barbara Bush at the podium in Houston, Texas, making an appearance tonight. Vice President was an indefatigable cheerleader for President Reagan and the accomplishments of the administration in the past 4 years in the course of this campaign, and it took a lot of heat for that. In the press, in editorials and cartoons, he was described by the Washington Post as the Cliff Barnes of American politics, the character in Dallas who's always coming up on the short end of a deal with JR and complaining about it. Gary Trudeau, the cartoonist in Doonesbury, had George Bush placing his manhood in blind trust at one point in the course of the cartoons.
Well, and George Bush said on television here the other day, in a jocular way, he said, I don't want to lose my manhood by answering this question.
That's right.
He picked up on it.
He said he didn't read those cartoons as well. We'll be back with more on election night, 1984, but that's where the election stands at this time.
A sneak of